sense of humor. And
well, that's something. I mean, that's something that like you're not so aware of it in yourself. I mean, I'm aware now because so many people have said to me. I mean, one thing that's a very frequently occurring comment when I show people the photographs is that they think some of them are funny.
Right.
Okay.
Well, the one that my sister has. I mean,
the one that your sister has is kind of laugh out loud funny.
Yeah.
Yes. And the other thing that people have said maybe 10 people have said to me is how they have very distinct emotional tones, like some are scary, and some are quiet, and some are funny, and some are sexy, and, and that is just something that happens. I think it's a very good thing rather than having the same kind of tone all the time. But I don't ever try to make something funny. It's just that when I make these, it's often a kind of, how the Harold Rosenberg coined this term action painting about Pollock. Okay, so in a way I think of it as reaction painting. I'm pawing around in some flea market and I find something. I have no idea the moment before what I'm about to find. As opposed to eBay where you're looking for something, you already know what you're looking for. Okay. And then I have a reaction to it. And very often, like when I found that photograph of the drawing classroom, I just thought of that. Those
so did you think
naked
about,
acrobats
I want to have the drawing naked contortionist?
I already owned the naked acrobats, and
okay.
I just thought, the whole thing kind of came together in my mind.
Got it.
And I found a photograph of two pandas. And then I started collecting some other taxidermy photographs, and then I sort of came to the idea that, one of the things about photography is, in a photograph, a taxidermied animal looks a lot like a live animal, and vice versa. It kind of elides the difference between the two. And then I remembered I had found this photograph of a guy making a model, and the whole thing just kind of came together in my mind. And Craig pointed out to me once, it's a photograph about three couples. Couple number one, couple number two, couple number three.
Yeah.
And one outsider, I guess you'd say. So, yeah, I think some of them are funny. Humor, I'm old enough that I grew up in this kind of Greenbergian era. Humor was held in very low regard when I was coming of age as an artist. But the older I became, the more absurd I thought that was, because it's a really important human dimension to all people at all times.
No.
So anyhow, yes, I think this is funny too.
Oh my goodness. So these are doll heads and little kids' heads, and oh boy.
It's a kind of whole fantasy I have about this woman that she's living in this part of California that's like Needles and Blythe. It's kind of back of it, like when you drive from LA to Phoenix, you go through this Indio, and that she's made this, and this is like
her
world.
creation. Yeah, I love the shadow.
Yeah, it's nice. And I mean, here again, this thing comes from an army photograph where a group of soldiers are creating camo netting. And this is a prop.
The whole background thing? Or
no,
what?
Just this tree.
Oh, this tree.
And when I saw that, the whole image of her and her dolls and her house came into my mind.
Right. So, was there camo netting anywhere on this at all?
Yeah, it was covered with camo netting.
Oh, so you kind of had to extract it?
There's a lot of erasing that goes on. Or even like this. I work with a professional retoucher. She's done it for 30 years. She's she'll retouch like Aceh for the Met, or And we built this house. I mean, it was actually a smaller shed with open doors and different windows, and we actually kind of collaged together components of the timber to build a new structure.
Wow. And so with this kind of armature here, there's a lot that you made up then, if you had to take away the camo.
Yes.
Just to kind of rebuild and fill in.
The dolls all came from found photographs of dolls. The coat hangers I photographed in the studio, real coat hangers, and then we collaged the dolls and the coat hangers together to give the dolls the mechanism to be on it. So it's there's probably 40 found photographs in this picture.
Right.
And then 10 that I've taken.
I think I remember there was one in the last show where you had your own, like, I think it was a clothesline with laundry or something.
Yes.
That was your own photograph that
Yes.
then you
Yes.
superimposed. So
Yeah.
same kind of thing. It's really interesting.
Yeah. And one of the things I like is that I feel like she's making this gesture as if she's kind of thinking about the dolls in their head. You know, like she's making a kind of doll head gesture.
So as you're piecing these together, is there a story in your mind that always
there
kind
is
of
a kind of
evolves,
story
and that's
here.
how you know what
Yes.
to do next,
Yes.
almost?
And I can't really tell you the story in a kind of line by line way, but I mean, I just
Well, the mind
have an
doesn't always work that
idea
way.
about how all these things fit together. And
Right.
And I can't, if I don't have it, I don't have it. You know, like I have great photographs that I just have no,
Right.
you know, the bell hasn't rung yet, you know.
You have to find the other one out there in the world that's going to put it all together.
This is called anagram.
Now, all these letters, I'm assuming you put on yourself?
Many of them were found just the way they are.
Oh, really? Like,
And I built up a little collection of people wearing letters. And then I got the idea for making a photograph where there was an anagram.
so the letters stand for something?
Yeah, the letters, I mean, it's not a riddle that you're expected to know, but let's say you owned the photograph. Over time, you would figure it out.
Oh, you
know
would?
what I mean? Like someday you'd say, let's figure out that anagram.
Right.
And you'd get a pencil out and you'd call out all the letters and your daughter would write them down and you'd work on it.
And it will turn into something.
And it'll turn into a word.
Okay.
So for that reason, many of them were found the way they are, and then some of them I changed their letters.
Okay, so I'm going to have to figure this out later, you know that?
Like this guy was wearing a B, but I made him have a W.
W.
And I made him have the W because I like the way it interacts with the crossed,
Yeah.
you know.
So SSOWHMRMEL.
Yeah, there's two L's. This kid has an L too. Right there.
He has an L, the little guy here?
Yeah, see right down there on his
Oh my
jacket?
God, I'm definitely going blind.
And this guy has an A on his tie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that reminds me of, who was that guy? Al Hirsch, is it Hirschfield? Not Al. You know, the guy that did all the...
Nina's.
The Nina's.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes. That is his name, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, just the A hiding there reminded me of that.
So anyhow, that's a project for another day.
Yeah.
This is a kind of kinky sleepaway camp.
Oh, boy. Yeah, some counselor.
And this is a Moroccan dig.
Oh, wow. Have you traveled extensively?
Nope.
No, not at all.
Only in my mind.
Just in your mind.
I wanted to show you this peacock. Where is he?
Oh, look at this with the TVs.
Yeah. That's called Spells. Where is this?
I love that.
Oh, okay. We're nearing the end here. I don't want to overload you too much. That, as you might imagine, is millions of photos.